Don't waste your money on advertising. Try advertising. We have started advertising. This was the message 30 years ago when we consulted and still do consult dentist doctors as well as very large companies. Advertising is believed. Advertising is trusted. Most importantly, perhaps, advertising stays around. Advertising, today you put an advertising in the newspaper, radio, television, doesn't really matter where. It's seen, it does have some effect, it does have some potentially and some good effects. It does bring you some customers, clients, patients, and it is gone tomorrow. And you need to spend the money again to do it. And of course it gets stale. Advertising it's a message about you, the business owner, or for that much, just the person. And advertising is a public relations step. Have a look at politicians, how they do things which have little or nothing to do with their profession, such as like almost every president we ever had got himself a dog or did have a dog. They go to events or to places where there is a disaster happening, and the first lady always has a program going, something for children, something for poor people, whatever it might be. This is all public relations. It all has a good effect, okay? If a very rich person builds a hospital somewhere because he donates so much money and then this wing gets his name on it, that is public relation. That money, he thinks, hopes, and is to a very high degree always correct, will give him a tremendous amount of mileage in getting new business somewhere else. Now, here is something very important, however. Those things, of course, should be done without having 100% calculation in that it will bring something back. It will, at the very least, very rarely bring it back directly. It is indirectly. And of course, whether you get, so to say, successful indirectly or directly doesn't really matter. However, you should not engage in things which are foreign to you, which you don't like. You've got to be realizing, just like in your own business, that whatever it is you do, you got to provide a benefit to others. And advertising, at least the way we suggested and make plans, actually the whole program for our clients, does do that. So if you help children to get toys at Christmas, people to get food at not only Thanksgiving, but the whole year. After all, let me ask you, somebody who is hungry at Thanksgiving, don't you think that those people who are hungry then will be hungry in June, in July, in January, in March, and at any given time? Of course there will be. Children who have and would like to have toys at Christmas, do you think that, or children in a hospital, that they could need some happy happenings in January, March, April? Absolutely. So my point is this: do things which interest you. So advertising is believed, it's trusted, it sticks around. Basically, advertising makes you what we call a jolly good fellow in your own little environment. It also works with a doctor. The reason most people don't do advertising as much as they should is because it appears to them very time consuming. To go and sponsor a baseball team, in a local baseball team, and be with them and etc. It's very time consuming. To go on the street and do things is very, very time consuming. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't have to be like that at all. We're living in a new age of internet. And by the way, 30 years ago, we didn't have the internet, and advertising worked like crazy without involving the doctor's time in it, or at least extremely little. We know how to get you this type of reputation, and without you actually having to be out there and wasting and spending time. It wouldn't be waste time, but it's time you probably don't have, because you doctors, if we're speaking to doctors, or you smaller business owners, you have one huge disadvantage, in which I will talk about it in many other videos, and that is you are chained to the freaking time. So you think also, but you are at the moment. You make money when you pull a tooth, and you are very busy at the end of the day, because that's what you have learned. You have been told that if you study well, your life will be good. Well, you have studied. How did it work out for you? I really hope it worked out well for you. And if it yet didn't work out well for you, then it's just a missing ingredient. And that missing ingredient perhaps is an advertising. That missing ingredient is something which grew over time and made decoupling from being linked and chained to your own work so much easier. It's called the high tech. It's called the internet. It's called the technical age. It's called the new age of opportunity, in my humble opinion. All right. And yes, because of that, you can attract new clients, new patients in a way with less money you didn't imagine. And yes, from 30 years ago, this advertising principle is working better now, easier to do because of the high tech. And on top of it, it can fit a bunch of other stuff in it too, such as creating secondary incomes by the truckload, bigger than your first income as a doctor. This is what we do. Some people, the biggest mistake people make when new things come up, let's just say medicine as well as marketing or anything else high tech, is they stop using the old shit because now the new one came up. And you doctors in medicine can probably really sing a song about it. Only because we have fantastic medicine, fantastic drugs, fantastic equipment, fantastic whatever the medical industry produced, doesn't mean that a chicken soup and good sleep and eating good, which today can probably be easier achieved with vitamins, good vitamins, type of things. Those things, unfortunately, every time new things gets forgotten. Same is with the marketing industry or with the high-tech industry. Only because marketing hasn't changed for 5,000 years. What changed is the tools, how we deliver the message. What has to be done, the message in itself hasn't changed. And this is where people forget in the new age and have forgotten for 50 and 100 years. They always concentrate when it comes to marketing to the new way. The message, ladies and gentlemen, hasn't changed since Buddha. And if you do not combine both of them, and if you think that because of a fast age of internet, this all shit should happen in weeks or even a month or two, again, you will not succeed, okay? Here is the thing. You've got to combine them. You've got to work them relatively correctly. You don't have to work them 100%. I wouldn't know how to work anything in my life 100%. What I do know in many cases is how to work things well enough and in combination well enough with other things that as a package, it works. Give us a call.